Welcome to We and Lewes, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the remarkable, creative, and energetic people who live in Lewes and are helping our community forge a collective soul as appealing as it is unique. These are their stories in their words. They are the we in Lewes. I'm your host, Kevin McGinnis. Our guest today is Maureen Botti Eschbach, a.k.a. Mo, the creator and owner of Aquamarine, a women's clothing boutique, the likes of which are normally found in Soho in New York City or at the corner of La Brea and Beverly Boulevard in Hollywood. Each item in the store is hand-picked by Mo, often with individual customers in mind. As one reviewer noted, if you can't find what you need at Aquamarine, you're the problem. Now, I appreciate that some of you are probably mumbling, "How would you know, Kevin? We've seen how you dress." Obviously, these observations aren't mine. They are the opinions of this podcast's select panel of professional clothing enthusiasts. Yes, we have such a panel. Also, I've noticed if my beautiful wife, Kath, gets a compliment on what she's wearing, there's a good chance it's from Aquamarine. Today's episode is brought to you by the sister restaurants Kindle and Half Full, located in the heart of downtown Lewes. With their beloved menu, American fare with a French influence for Kindle, and gourmet pizza and wine at Half Full, and so much more, they are busy year-round. Both restaurants provide personal, intimate dining, but not surprisingly, they're always busy. And in these tumultuous times, they are consistently excellent. Rumor has it that they have a great happy hour. Unfortunately for Steve and I, it's still just a rumor. One day. Mo, welcome to the podcast. I believe you know you were on the original guest list we prepared when we were thinking of starting this podcast, so this is a real triumph for us.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Kevin. But do your listeners know that when you first started this podcast, you probably knew about 6 people in town, so that list might have been a little bit shorter than the original idea.
No, that's fair. We've been living in the town for almost 15 years by then, but you're right. You're right.
I'm kidding. I'm delighted to be here. And I kind of wish I would have said yes at the beginning, because after listening to the other guests, I feel maybe they're in a different stratosphere, but this is going to be fun. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be fun. How do you pick what will be in the store?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the best thing to do is to, like any job, is to follow your gut. And if you like it, if I like it, it tends to sell. If a rep is showing me something that is so not appealing to me, and they keep saying to me, well, it's our best seller. Well, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you hate it, you're not going to show it to anybody. So anything that looks like it's something you might want to wear, or something you could see somebody else wearing, then that's what you go with.
Is there a style that's definitely you?
Oh, I think that's a great question too. So
Mo, you don't have to say it again. They're all great
questions.
questions.
They are. Thank you for saying that, Kevin. They really are. I'm just delighted to be here. So my most favorite thing that somebody said to me once, I lived in DC for a moment with my best girlfriends from high school and 3 total derelicts from Princeton. But I would walk down the steps, and my roommate from Princeton would say to me, like, I just love it when you come downstairs, because I never know who's going to show up, which to me was such a humongous compliment. And everybody else was like, oh, it's a little bit Sybil, but to me it was a total compliment. And I think that the only thing that connects the clothes in my store are that people feel good when they're in them. I don't know that there's a certain style, because it's a prep style, which I never can pull off preppy. I'm just too awkward for preppy. And there's a boho style that is wonderful, but is great in small doses. And then there's classic. And if you mix those things all together, I think you get a great result that lots and lots of people can wear.
Is there a style that if someone sees a dress or a jacket, they'll know it's from Aquamarine?
What I try to do, at least, is to make sure that you don't run into yourself out there. You don't want to see yourself coming and going, as they say. You kind of want to be the only one wearing that particular item, and it should fit you well, and you should feel your best in it. And it should be interesting. And I love hearing, it never, ever gets old, to have somebody come back into the shop and say, I wore this dress to a wedding and I got 100 compliments, or I never felt better in this, or I bought this top from you that you sort of talked me into, that you said it really looks great. Just give it a try. And every time I wear it, I get compliments. So that to me is what makes Aquamarine special.
Now, I've been in your store on a rare occasion when a customer comes in and the reaction from you and Betty and your crew makes it feel more like being in a club than a store. Is this intentional? Or am I simply getting a peek into what it is like to shop as a woman?
I think maybe a little bit of both. I do sometimes feel like we're a club that nobody wants to be a member of. It's such a brutal club in a way, but because we will not let you walk out of our shop not looking your absolute best, because then you're never going to come back, right? First of all, and then you're also a terrible representative of what Aquamarine is. Like, oh, who sold you that? Oh, I got it from Aquamarine. Well, they're a bunch of liars. Like, nobody wants that. So, but I absolutely do shop with people in mind when we go to market and there's things. And I will say to my mother, who's affectionately known to most people now as Bubble, which is her grandmother name. So that poor
Which
woman.
is, by the way, I'd like to say for the record, the best grandparent name out there.
She did come from Betty Botti to start with, so that was hard to top, but I think Bubble might have done it. So she's the sounding board. But so it's pretty fun we'll go to market and I'll say to Bubble, like, I can see so-and-so wearing this, or this looks exactly like these three people. I know they're going to buy that. I know that this is going to be a successful piece. And it is funny when they come in, and sometimes, usually, thank God, it's, we hit the mark. Sometimes it's a swing and a miss, but when they do love it, and then, so a lot of times clothing lines name all of their pieces. Like, this is the Jennifer, this is the Janet, and so I will jokingly say to that customer, like, oh, well, I mean, it is called the Cath. And then they're like, oh, seriously? And you're like, sure. So that's always fun to make somebody's day that way. Yeah.
But customers love you for your honesty when they step out of the changing room. Your patented phrase, "We can do better," is so much more compassionate than, "Oh, no."
Well, my mom Bubble is the one who is completely cultivated and mastered this whole technique. She never ever says, like, that looks awful on you, right? Or like, or do these pants make me look fat? Like, it's not the pants. Let's not blame the pants, right? So Bubble will say, like, if she thinks something this is Bubble code. If something is horrible on you, but she doesn't have the nerve to say to you, like, well, she would never say that to you. She will go, oh my God, that is such a pretty dress. Meaning, like, on someone else, or, let's try again. So we will say, like, I think we can do better, because we always can. I mean, almost always can do better. I did have a family that they come from Maryland, and they spend the entire day. It's part of their family vacation, and it makes me so happy. But they're so polite and loyal and lovely to each other. And so I remember the one time, Kate, the youngest, comes out, and she's in this, like, Kate is this fit, petite, adorable woman, and she's in this, like, hot air balloon of a dress, and her whole family is trying so hard to be polite. Like, maybe if you would belt it, or maybe if you, like, with a heel. And I'm like, take that off as fast as you can. Like, we can do better.
Are there times when you kind of have to wait for the client to get through what they're thinking about and get them over to what you're thinking about for them?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. And it's interesting when somebody walks in the door, and I like to say to people, there's nothing worse to me when I'm shopping than this hovering, horrific salesperson that like, how can I help you, is something that I absolutely say to anybody that works at the shop. Like, please don't ever, ever say that to somebody. Don't say, how can I help you? Nobody ever wants to hear that. I usually say, like, hey, how are you? Are you looking for anything in particular? And sometimes they'll say to me, yes, I have this event. And sometimes they're so excited about the event. But often they are not even a little bit excited about said event, right? Which always is a little more fun, a little more interesting, because it's like, I got to go to this wedding. I'm the mother of the bride, and I don't love the husband to be, or something just so like, whoa, it's always like, or they're getting this incredible award, which is always fun too, because then you're like, oh, my clothes are going to an event. Like, I'm not going, but my stuff's going. So that is this weird, silly thing that I feel like, oh, I'm a little bit a part of that. Yes, you definitely have to have somebody warm up. I like to say to people like, well, how do you want to feel at this event? How do you want to look? What do you want to portray? What do you want to say? How do you want to be? Because you're always nicer. I don't know who said it. Definitely wasn't me. I didn't coin the phrase, but it was like, you always feel better and you're nicer when you like your outfit. Like, I mean, as women, we've been in, I'm sure it happens to men too, but like if you have to be a bridesmaid and you are put in the most horrific outfit and you're like, I look like a snack chip. Like I look like I should be tied to a railroad track. Like, this is horrible. Like, rescue me. It's not for you. And so then the whole night you spend trying to compensate for feeling awful in what you've been meant to wear. And I mean, granted, yes, the bride is the focus of the evening, but it's like, did you have to make all your friends look like a bunch of hobos? Like, it's insane to me. So, but to ask somebody, how do you want to feel? And then you go from there and you gain their trust a little bit of like, what are you comfortable in? What are the things that you like to wear? And sometimes people know exactly. Oftentimes they don't. And oftentimes they don't know what exactly is best for what their shape, their coloring, they don't get it. Not that they don't get it. It's just, it's not on their radar because it's not important to them, but it's super important to me. So I think it's the one little gift that I can give to people. Like, if I can at least get them in the fitting room and I can say, okay, show me some things that you might like. And then I'm going to put some things in too that I think you might look great in. You can try them on. You don't have to. I didn't design them. I didn't make it. You're not hurting my feelings. But like, if you're willing to give this a try, let's go from there. And then you establish this sort of sense of, this trust that they're like, oh, well, maybe she's not a total idiot. Like, maybe she does know what she's talking about. And maybe she has my best interest at heart, that she wants me to look fantastic and feel wonderful. And there is nothing better to me than having somebody come back to me and be like, I knocked it out of the park with that. Like, I felt so great at this event. I got so many compliments. People I didn't know stopped me on the street. It to me is, there's nothing better.
Do you know, if you see someone walk into the store, do you know what they bought the last time they were in?
I absolutely do. I'm not awesome with names. I've never been awesome. I have this unbelievable gift of when you could introduce yourself to me, and I think like there's a few of us out there, like a few seconds later you're like, no idea what you just said, but I will be like, oh my God, red dress, Italy wedding, your brother got married, you weren't psyched about the wife, but I know that you wore a cut loose dress from me and the jewelry you picked was something that you had, but then we paired these shoes and this bag, and that's how I know you. So I'm like, hey, cut loose red dress, how's it going? Are they still together? How are you? Have you worn the dress again? And I try to eventually pull out their name, although I'm not, I'm being a little cruel to my own brain. I will remember things. I do get to know my customers very, very well, eventually, but there are times when I'm like, but I could tell you what I wore, when I was 6 to my school picture, or, for Easter Sunday. I could tell you what my mother was wearing. I could tell you pretty much what everybody in the room had on. I could not tell you the quadratic equation or, any. And when I say that, people are like, isn't it A plus B? I'm like, yeah, I just told you I don't know it. So, congratulations. I'm glad you do, but not my wheelhouse.
I don't know about Steve, but I don't know what I wore yesterday. So I have no idea how you're remembering all this stuff.
My guess is Steve had on shorts. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with shorts.
There's not snow on the ground, so you've got a good guess. Where do you go to find new clothes? And can you also then talk a little bit about the payment process?
Sure. So buying new clothes is always the best part of the job, right? So you go to, it's essentially called market, and it happens right after, New York Fashion Week, or, I mean, I'm not that fancy, but I'm sure there's one right after Milan. I don't happen to go to that market any minute now, though. We're gonna work that into the program, but and then people also, there's road reps, and these people are the hardest working people on the planet, and they come to you and they show you their wares, which is great if you have an established rapport with them and you like what they sell, but they're always selling, right? So they're going to show you everything that's in their van. And, 3 things in their van might be exactly what you need, but they have 6 other lines that they're trying so hard to push on you, and you're like, no thanks. So if you only see people in vans, you're going to totally get a reputation, first of all, because who sees people in vans? But I mean, but also like you're only going to buy what they show you, right? So but going to market is so interesting and intimidating and fun and
But
silly.
when you say going to market, are you talking about like going to New York and going to the Javits Center or
Yes.
something?
So now it's the Javits Center. It used to be the Piers. When I started, it was the Piers, which was a little grittier and a little more interesting and a little dirtier. And I liked it so much more. Like, it smelled like jet fuel and it was gross. And I loved it because people were nasty and it felt very New York. And now it's very la-di-da and lovely at the Javits. And like, you're never that hot because it's airy and air conditioned. Everything's beautiful. But it's, you can see everybody and see all the things. But that can be overwhelming too. So you're looking at all of these, it's a bajillion lines. You can buy anything. You can get anything you want. And it cracks me up though, because there's now, I mean, I feel like I used to always think that I was like the new kid on the block, but now, so like on April 20th, the shop turns 21, which I think is hysterical. Like, when the hell did that happen? But so the first time I went was with I went with my mom, and she had like the cold of all colds. And she was miserable. But we and I'm going like, this is what we have to do. We have to go, and we buy everything. And so my parents were so delightful that they took out a line of credit on their house so I could start the shop, right? And I was 29 and like, well, great. Like, who wouldn't bank on me? Like, what? Really? So, so we went, and my mom's got this cold that's like taking over her whole face, and she's miserable. And we show up at the first booth, and it's a company called Graham Candia, which I'm not even sure if she's still in business, but I used to work at a shop previous to opening Aquamarine, and it was like, well, I know this is a good line. It's a very beachy line. It sells. It's great. So I just went through and bought all this stuff, right? And you split it up by deliveries. Like, so, because we're at the beach, like a 3/1/3/15 is a great delivery. That's like a March 1st to March 15th. And then like a 4/15/4/30. So that's how everybody talks. And then what sizes do you want? You're like, I want a 1-2-1. I want a 1-2-2-1. And that's, so 1-2-1 is usually like a small, 2 mediums and a large, and you split things up that way. That's the jargon or whatever. It's not very fancy or exciting, but, so I spent, I guess, if you ask Bubble, she would have been like, well, that was a hell of a lot of money. So she looks at me. We've been to one booth. The Javits Center, if you've ever been in the Javits Center, is mammoth. I mean, and it's filled with, right. So every square inch of the Javits Center has a vendor. And Bubble looks at me and goes, so are we done? And I was like, what? And she said, so we're done, right? We can go home now. I was like, do you think we came to New York and this was it? This was all of it. She's like, Jesus Christ, like, how much is this going to cost us? And I'm thinking, oh no, I didn't prepare you for this. Like, we didn't plan well. Like, and then I'm trying to tell her there's net 30 days and there's this and that. Meanwhile, she has a checkbook and she's literally trying to like hand people money ahead of time. I'm going, don't do that. Like, you never know when that's going to show up. Like, just net 30, just wait. What are you talking about? So, it was a comedy of errors from the beginning. It's still that way. And I think that's the way we get through the funny, fashion-y part of it, because people can take it so ridiculously serious.
So you don't pay everything up front.
No, thank God. I mean, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, if you paid everything up front, you'd be like, here, I'm going to have to go sell a kidney. Like, does people still like want your plasma, like your body plasma? Because I can't possibly pay for all of this up front. And that's always such a huge gamble anyway, right? You're like, I'm going to pay for this stuff and then it's going to come in and you're going to pray that everybody likes it, right? And shoes are a perfect example of how it's always, I am horrific at picking out shoes for other people. Notoriously bad. I pick out the weirdest shoes. Nobody's interested. Nobody cares. My mom's like, this was a giant waste. Why are we doing this? And then also shoe manufacturers and vendors are notorious for switching their actual manufacturer, or they'll sell their company and then their fit changes completely. Well, when somebody's fit changes, you're like, thanks. That would have been awesome if you would have told me ahead of time, because now like a size 6 is actually a 6.5. Yeah.
You're closing in on 21 years in business, and you've been at several locations, which we'll get to in a second. But fashion is really fickle.
Yes.
Do styles ever come back?
Sure. And I think I think that was a perfect thing to say, is style and fashion are completely different things, right? Fashion is what's in at the moment. It's what's happening. And I can honestly tell you at 49 years old, like, I don't really have much of a clue what's happening fashion wise. I mean, a little bit. I like to try to say that I know what's going on, but, fashion, another thing that somebody else said, definitely wasn't me, is fashion comes and goes and style is forever. So, and style is one of those things that we were just talking about this the other day. It's so incredibly hard to have style. I can tell you, Kevin, that your wife has it in spades, and it's unbelievable, because it is almost sort of a thing that it feels like you're born with it. I know that's obnoxious. You really can't be taught it. You can have somebody else put it on you, right? But you either have it, or I think I do feel like you have it or you don't. And that's not me saying that I have it, because I'm not really sure that I know who the hell I am. But you either have it or you don't. And my mother thinks that she doesn't, but she 1000% does. So I think fashion is like, you keep your eye on a trend. You see what's coming and going. You like to be current, but you also like to be applicable to other, to your customers. Because I mean, for a while there, remember, when Taylor Swift did her whole like granny pants and like gray hair, and I wanted to like shake every 22-year-old and be like, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna get there anywhere. Like, anyway, you don't need to wear mime jeans and dye your hair gray. It's coming. Like, wear the half shirt, be sexy. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, stop working against yourself. You're gonna get there. So then when you take the people that are not Taylor Swift and try to apply that like horrific, unflattering proportion of a jean, and then it's like that, like, how ugly can I make myself and still look cute? Like 6 people can do that, and none of them are my customer. So I think it's just, if you buy classic, always classic, interesting, current things with a great cut and a great feel and a well-made fabric, then you can't lose.
So are skinny jeans an example of fashion as opposed to style? Although I would like to say, for the record, I think there should be law against men of a certain age ever wearing skinny jeans.
I could not agree with you more, Kevin. I think skinny jeans should be outlawed and banned everywhere for most human beings. They're horrific, in my opinion. It's also with like leggings. And when people say leggings, it makes me apoplectic. But so these are things that nobody should, like 6 people should wear that. If you have a giant gap between your thighs because you're that skinny, put on your skinny jeans. Rock them. If you're anyone else on the planet, like, do not ever put on skinny jeans again. Like, you're cutting yourself in half. It's a bad look. I don't like it. I think it makes men look ridiculous. Unless, there's 6 again. I think Harry, isn't his name Harry? It's Harry Styles. Look how current I am. he probably could rock skinny jeans. I did see Kevin Bacon once at the Rusty Rudder. He wasn't essentially wearing skinny jeans. That man was just so skinny.
He weighs, as I understand, 11 pounds.
Yes, he turned sideways, and I was like, we're going to lose him through the cracks of the actual boardwalk floor. So yes, he can wear them. Everybody else should be like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe we should explore something with a little bit more of a girth, a space.
Of all the people we interact with on a daily basis, Matt DiSabatino has style.
Oh, in spades.
That man can wear anything, and you're going, damn, that looks good.
Oh.
Then I'll put that on me, and you're like, no.
Put it near me.
And you know what?
Dude, they don't have a size.
Got to sew two together to be able to fit around me.
Okay, we're moving on. Did you always know you're going to have your own clothing store back in Hershey, Pennsylvania?
Oh, no. That's so funny. So I grew up in Hershey, which was a terrific place to grow up. Idyllic, just the best. My grandmother, my great grandmother, my aunt, on my father's side are all buyers, right? And so it's, I guess, in my DNA. But no, I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. I have to do something that is so prolific and gives back and is just, which is, when I think about it now, it just makes me laugh because my parents were like, I don't know, why don't you focus on this? Our next door neighbor in Hershey was the president of Textile. Right? So Dr. Jim Gallagher was the president of Textile, a Philadelphia-based school, right? Just for this, all the things that I was good at. And I was like, yeah, no, I was like, I just want to explore, if I have a little Toni Morrison or Sylvia Plath in me, well, guess what? No, you don't. And I still don't understand most of the things that those women were saying. But I thought that I didn't think that clothing was, clothing, fashion design. Well, I didn't even do the fashion design part, which is just embarrassing, but I didn't think it was worthy, I guess. It wasn't, this isn't something that's contributing to society. But now at 49, I just provide that little part that that makes them feel great that day and what they're, if you're comfortable in your own skin and your clothes are an extension of your own being, then I sort of have contributed a little bit to making not a difference, but just making somebody's day better.
I thought you were going to be a dance major in college.
Oh, didn't we all? Well, let's start with it. I just was not that great of a dancer. High hopes, right? I think peaked 100% age 17, but loved it. I love moving all the time. Love it. I love dance. There's nothing better than just moving, right? And you're like, nobody's watching all that. But I also love the entire aspect of the stage, the lights, the costume, the makeup, the hype. It's just, that to me is so intoxicating. It's embarrassing. The last time. So I took my mom to see Kinky Boots, which is a terribly hilarious and wonderfully funny show. And the opening act, the curtain opens, the footlights come up, and my mom turns to me and goes, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "No." Yes. And I'm secretly sobbing. I cannot stop the tears coming out of my face. The complete overwhelming sense of it was not sad. It just overwhelms me, which is so lame, but it's just my most favorite. It's a thing that you can't grasp it. It just is the thing that cuts you to your core. And I think fashion picks that up too. It's a whole continuing life of playing dress up. Mm-hmm.
But you like to perform.
No.
Yeah. Weren't you in some commercials?
I was in, I've never seen them. I was in a couple of commercials in Washington, D.C., apparently. Yes, allegedly, I was in a commercial. I think at least 2 commercials. One where I have a very famous line where I say, dinner, and that's it. Yeah. And then another one where I think I'm dressed like an 80s, I don't even know. Like I have this ridiculously large tulle skirt and I'm doing this obnoxious Running Man constantly in the background. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, put that on your resume. Amazing. Talent for days.
How did you ever go from all of this into event planning?
Oh my God. So I was working. I've had, I think at last count, it was like 16 jobs from graduating from college, which I was an English major. And basically none of them, I mean, did some writing and some freelance writing for very prestigious places like, Miller Lite nightlife in DC. I don't want to brag, but it's pretty big time. But so yes, I just had a.
I'm sorry, I've got to ask what is Miller Lite? I got no Miller Lite. I know nightlife. What is it when you put those together?
Oh, nightlife in DC for Miller Lite, like so that I answered this call, like in the one. Yeah, it was like this was a job offer, and I was like, that is me, and right for Miller Lite for nightlife in DC. I was like, yes. I mean, I'm totally qualified. So I left my job with the corporate executive board, which has
got to be the polar. I know for those in DC, you know what that is. That's like the polar opposite of you. You couldn't get any farther away from you than there.
Yeah, my friend Joe at the time worked there, and so he was like, "You got to apply. Like because if you apply, they give me a giant check like they do on The Price is Right. Like, and if you get the job, then I get this $1,000 check, and we get our picture taken." I was like, Cool. So I worked there for 5 minutes, and I was like, this is terrible. Everyone here hates me, and I hate all of them. And so I was like, I'm leaving to write. I'm a writer for Miller Lite and nightlife in DC, which really translated into like, there was like this rag newspaper that they would put out every week, and it was like where the beer specials were.
Wait a minute. So this is a brewery that has an ad sheet that it puts out to where you can go buy their product cheap.
Essentially, like it was like, oh, you can go to Heaven and Hell, and there's $1.50 Miller Lite drafts from 2 to 4. Yeah, I was like, and this is what I'm doing now. So look out, It was like a giant leap in the wrong direction. I worked for a company called Cast of Thousands, which was the most interesting and fantastic job that I've had.
This job seems to match up with a lot of who you are.
Completely. It's like a dream. It's like, oh, if you could just dream up a job, what would it be? It was like, I would like to sit in an office with 4 other women and like come up with parties and then sell them to rich people. I'm in. Like it was like the most. I remember like everybody.
And to help you sell them, you had stuff. I mean, you had outfits.
For sure. I know. They were like, she
equipment.
She's packing. Like, she's got all the things. I was like, you need a sequin yellow dress? I got a sequin yellow dress for you. I can get you that by 3 o'clock. Like Lebowski. I was like, you need a toe by 3. I gotcha. So it was, I came packing. It was so funny because my friends were like, again, it was like a wanted or like, this is a job wanted in the newspaper. And so I answered it and they're like, that's not a real job. I'm like, I think it is. We planned these giant parties. They were huge. And it was like the .com era and everything was big in DC. It was before 9/11, before our entire, like, especially my age group. Like we never had a giant collapse of anything, It was like living high on the hog. And so we would plan these parties that was like AOL was a huge customer. And so they would rent out like the Marriott Wardman Park and every single room and ballroom and whatever, all the the meeting rooms would be a different theme. And so it was Jan's vision. And Jan and I were very similar because she's a wackadoodle. And I was like, this is good. We're going to work very well together. And then there was Pam, and Pam could plan things. And then there was Allison. She was a total bitch, and she could just make people do things. So it worked out beautifully. We would plan these ridiculous parties, and then Jan would be like, do you and your Leslie and Sarah, my two best friends that I was living with on the hill, do you guys want to be can dancers on Friday from 10 to 10:30? And then can you go to the embassy for whatever embassy and just be 60s greeters? And then can you go to the I'm going to need you to host, Maureen, I'm going to need you to be the event coordinator on the little people that we're going to put in a cage at this bar. We were like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And the answer was always yes, because it was like $100 an hour. Why wouldn't we do this? Of course we can. I mean, I can be a can dancer in 20 minutes. I can put my hair in a beehive, put on that A-line dress and seat some diplomats and get the hell out of there and be like, I'm so sorry that you're in a cage, but it's going to be great. We're all going to make $1 million. So it was very fun. It was very fun and very insanely ridiculous and fun. And I loved every single minute of it. We had a wig wall. The whole wall was just wigs. And they were like, take whatever you want for the weekend. I was like, I hope nobody wanted to be Barney Rubble because I'm him this weekend. It was great. It was so much
in
fun.
all seriousness, if you could have designed a job for this was it.
1,000%. It was the most ridiculous, fun
Now, is it
situation.
true that you were a really good Lady Liberty?
I know it's hard to believe because I apparently cannot stop talking. My babysitter growing up said that I was vaccinated with a Victrola needle. Anyway, I can stand still and not talk and or blink for a very, very long time. Yes, so I became like that pinch hitter when it came to like, oh, Lady Liberty dropped out. We need somebody. So they'd be like, Maureen, go paint yourself gold and put on this ridiculous costume and go stand there for 2 hours. I mean, you could move every, so often, but I could freeze. I could do it, and it was so fun because people would.
So you would be a human mannequin
Of
yes. Lady Liberty.
I was
Holding
not only
holding
Lady Liberty, Kevin. Don't pigeonhole me like that. Listen, one time I wore a helmet that was covered in Dixie cups that made me look a little bit like Epcot Center. Okay, I just want to point this out. It was Epcot. My head was Epcot, and I was wrapped in a bubble wrap suit. I mean, it was cut perfectly. I mean, I looked unbelievable. But I stood there too for like a good 20 minutes with this heavy Dixie cup situation on my head. And then this woman in front of me she was telling her friend how she was completely having an affair with, actually it was another woman. It was so scandalous, I suppose. I don't know. But then I moved and they both turned to me like, oh my God, who does that mannequin know? Who is she going to tell? And I looked at them like, I can't even see you anymore because my head hurts so badly, but I'm not going to break because this is my job.
You hear these stories and you have to ask, how the hell did you get from Lady Liberty to having to get payroll done and business licenses, accounting, and all the stuff associated with running your own store?
Oh, yeah. Any minute now.
Yeah, this is for you.
Oh,
this is for you.
And any minute now, I'm going to know how to do those things. I mean, it sounds like a great idea, too. I plan on it every year, I swear to God. So every year, Bubble is like, let's set a budget. And I'm like, let's do it. For what? And she's like, for like how much we're spending on, I don't know, everything. I'm like, cool. Where do you want to start? She's like, maybe with the clothes, like that's stuff we're bringing in. Let's talk budget. I'm like, okay, great. And then she goes, I always joke because Bubble does the books, and she doesn't do quick books. She refuses. She does slow books. She just like writes them down. Like we have a new accountant this year, and I gave this poor kid and he's a kid. He's like, we call him the teen accountant. And we gave him like a notebook, like a, you know, like a truly like a 3-ring binder, like here's our stuff. And he was like, oh my God. It was like, I don't know. It's embarrassing in the best possible way. And so so she was like, let's do this budget. So we write it all down and then we lose it. And I remember one time, so the one year we're like going through, it's the budget. We're doing the budget. It's the budget. It's so important. And halfway through, my mom looks at me and she goes, why are we doing this? You're not going to follow it and I'm going to lose it. I was like, yeah, I know. So can we agree that it's just like, I just don't understand how this operation works. I'm like, well, that makes 2 of us, but it's been working for 21 years. But every single year around this time, I have to say, I'm pretty proud of us. This is the first year, knock wood, that Bubble is not fully panicking.
Who's Lucy?
Oh, Lucy is I feel so sorry I love my kids. So Lucy is my best friend. She's our COVID animal. So Leo, my husband, was sent along with our daughter Vivi to go get an animal, any animal. I didn't care. I just could not. It was during COVID. Vivi was 5 and I could not play Barbies for another 3 hours. Especially when she won't let me like put them in the outfits that I want to put them in. She's like, put them in boots and swimsuits. I'm like, not everybody's Lady Gaga. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Leo and Vivi went out and they came back with this dog and Vivi's walking upstairs and there's this perfect Scottish Terrier. She's white. She's tiny. She's like, Vivi goes, this is Lucy. She's ours now. And I'm like, I've never had a dog. We've had found cats and fish and things. And I was like, okay. And I said to Leo, where did you get her? And Leo goes, he goes, and meanwhile, the whole family thought we were getting a cat. Like everybody was interested in a cat except for Leo, who was buying, right? So, but then he's like, oh, we got her at Puppies R Us. I was like, oh, funny, no cats? Like that didn't happen there? I'm like, he's like, they had fish. Anyway, but Lucy is the saving grace of our entire life. I am in love with this dog. She rides on my back, on my scooter in a backpack. She's the funniest person in the household.
Does she stay at the store?
Oh, she does. She will on occasion. She does. She likes it. She has a very fancy dog bed, which she could care less about. But she's just I don't know. She's a ragamuffin that everyone wants to be around. Yeah, we love her. We love her.
And from what I hear, she has style.
She does. So she has like 6 jackets. I mean, and then she, you know, and she's kind of outgrowing all of them because she's kind of a tank. Like she's a little bit of the thing she likes most in the whole wide world is food, yeah, especially eggs.
Where did you meet your husband?
I was in my basement shop, which was like, truly, I got to say, like that basement shop was so perfect.
This is where...
Vintage Underground is there.
Vintage Underground
yes.
is there now.
Yes, which is such a great, weird space. You know, I loved every minute of it. So I had a customer, and she was like, I want to send this guy in to meet you. His name is Leo Eschbach. And I was like, nah. And she was like, what? I was like, I don't know. That's okay. And she goes, what? Do you know him? And I was like, no. She goes, well, why? I said, I don't really like that name. She was like, what part? I was like, all of it mostly. But it was like a big, now like Leo it's had a whole resurgence, right? Like everybody's kid's name is Leo. All I could think of was Uncle Leo from Seinfeld. I was like, all I could think of was the eyebrows. I was like, oh, no thanks. And she was like, do you have the depth of a parking lot puddle? And I was like, pretty much. She was like, well, do you want to meet this guy, John? And I was like, is that the guy that was wearing that bolo tie? Like, and she was like, yeah. I was like, nah. Like, I was out. I wasn't interested. So fast forward to, I was working. It was January. Dead of winter, which is a terrible time to be open in an underground shop in Lewes when you have clothes that are like mostly seasonal. You have like 6 things left and you're miserable. And maybe you went out the night before and you were just out a little too late. And then you came in and you wore an outfit that kind of made you look like an out of work toy soldier in not a great way. So I was the same color as my shirt. My shirt was awful. It was like this frilly, horrible khaki shirt, and I was khaki too. But it had like these weird blue and red spots, and it was not awesome. So I think we had this back staircase. So these feet, I got to know people by their feet in that store because that was the first thing you saw. So these feet come down, and this person's wearing these really cool old school bucks, like bass bucks, and I'm like, not only do I like those, I have those, right? So and then the dude is like, he's pretty cute, right? And he's like, hey, I need to buy a sweater for my aunt for Christmas, and I'm such a jerk. I was like, yeah, it's like January 13th. Like, I couldn't be worse, you know? And he's like, yeah, I know, but I haven't really seen her, so I need to buy this sweater. I'm like, sizing him up. Anyway, he finds a sweater. I can tell you exactly the sweater, whatever. And he buys the sweater, and he pays for it with his credit card. And I'm like, oh, that's Leo Eschbach. So he leaves. His little feet go up the stairs in his bass. And I call Bubble because, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I'm like such a mama's girl. I'm like, Mom, listen to what just happened. So I call Bubble, and I'm like, oh, my God, remember that guy that Brenda wanted to introduce me to? Well, he just was in. She's like, yeah, and I was like, it was cute. She's like, how do you look? I was like, which is not good. You know, I was like, she goes, what do you, like, how not good? I was like, I mean, my lips are ruby red because I'm that dehydrated, and I am puce. She was like, oh, well, okay. So, but he was cute. Yes, he was cute. Well, and this was so, she was like, well, what, didn't Brenda say that he was a physician? I was like, yes, she did. Well, what kind of physician? I said, I don't know. Pull out the old school phone book, right? Pull it up, and I was like, let's see what he is. Leo's name happens to be one of those names that is, he's at the top, right? Like he's at the top of the page. So it's Eschbach, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh my God, he's an OBGYN. Well, my father's an OBGYN, and my mom's like, oh my God, run for the hills. And then I see his feet coming back down the steps. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm like calling her from a landline, right? So I hang up, and Leo comes back. I'm like, this son of a gun is gonna return this sweater. Like this, he went out and found something better. I was so annoyed. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, well, I was just wondering if you're like, you know, involved with anybody in town, and I say, no. This is my own shop. It's just me. Like, this is me. And he was like, yeah, I just meant like dating somebody. And I was like, like, no, I'm not dating anybody. He was like, do you want to go out sometime? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so that was that. And we went out, and he got beeped out because he was, you know, he got beeped out the first time we went out to dinner. Like 6 minutes in, he gets called out. And of course, then I call Bubble.
The old call out, call the emergency call
100%,
routine.
right?
Yeah.
So I call,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I call Bubble, and I go, she goes, oh my God, you're home already? I go, well, he got called out. She goes, yeah, he didn't get called out. She's just like, I mean, yeah, like, give me a break. Like, how bad? I like, what did you do? I was like, gee, I don't know. Anyway, so fast forward to then when we were finally sort of dating, and I said to Leo, like, I mean, when are you going to tell me that Brenda sent you in to meet me? And he's like, when are you going to tell me that you were looking me up in the phone book when I came back to ask you out? I was like, you saw that? He was like, it was in bold at the time. Yeah. So he's great. He's great for me. We are polar opposites. And yeah, I think he's the reason that I get to be the insane human being that I am. So it's good.
When did you finally come to terms with the realization that you and Lewes were the right match?
I worked at a shop previously, a beautiful store, and we came to Lewes, and I had decided, well, we had decided, it was sort of like, okay, well, maybe this is what you're going to do. And I'd been a little bit, I wasn't very familiar with Lewes. My parents had a house in Bethany, and we would spend summers there. And so I knew Bethany best, and then I knew Rehoboth a little bit, and knew Dewey way too well. Like nothing succeeds.
Did you know anything about Dewey before 5 o'clock?
Yeah,
5 p.m.?
yeah, sure, yeah. Like 5 a.m. I
I didn't say 5 a.m. I said 5 p.m.
yeah. I didn't know Dewey between like 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. If that's what you're asking. No idea what goes on there. I mean, I think there's a library that opens up, or like a bookmobile that shows up, or I don't know. Well, I wasn't part of it, but so Lewes was sort of that like, well, this almost afterthought, which to me now is hysterical because I can't think of a better place to be. It's such an unbelievable. I'm so passionate about it. It's so stupid. I'm so passionate about this little fishing village that is just the coolest place with the most unbelievable people. That just the fact that it's the first town in the first state and where we are situated on, geographically on the planet is so interesting. I mean, the ocean and the bay meet here. That's magic. Where else? There's other spots, but I've never been there. I love being here. I love everything this town gives back. When I opened Aquamarine, this might be a lie too, sort of like the Aquamarine is the state stone of Delaware. Total lie. To all of my friends that I've been telling that to, I didn't know until last night that is not actually true. It's Ciliamite, which that's a terrible name for a shop. But anyway, 90% of the businesses owned in downtown Lewes when I opened were owned by women, which was remarkable to me. And it was also, women can be terrible to each other, as we all know, and not every single person, like that first meeting that I went to a chamber meeting, and everyone came up afterwards and, was like, congratulations, there's room for all of us. It was terrific. It was so welcoming and interesting. And the sense of camaraderie that I felt like I clearly hadn't earned yet, and, it just is. It's like a dream world. I know. It's like Mayberry in the strangest way. Mayberry with an edge, because you can be like as nutty as you want, and somebody's always going to be just a little bit nuttier than you. So you're like, we're good. It's my favorite place. It's filled with interesting, accomplished, weirdly mysterious people. I feel lucky every day that I get to be a part of it. When I first started, I was in a basement, which was a perfect place to start. Like, let's just pretend we're playing shop. But it was the coolest spot ever, because it was Market Street. Maybe I'm lying about this too, but I think Market Street was the actual original center of town. So the wall that was leading down the steps to my spot was the original brick wall. And every time I would come down the stairs and sort of touch it. I know that's so cheesy, but it was like, what hasn't this wall seen, And it's like, you're part of this market. Like, you're also part of the market. You're adding to this history of this really cool town. And so I got very lucky that I found a place that was affordable, and I could sort of, like I said, play shop, and then develop this rapport with people, and found out that I was not terrible at it. And it just sort of grew from there. And I've gotten to know my customers so well, 21 years in, it's interesting. Like, I know, they're like some of my customers, their daughters would come in, they were 9, and now I've been to their weddings and they're having babies, and it's fascinating to me. And it's like, I had a customer just say to me the other day, she texted me, she lives in Nebraska, which I'm like, oh, why? But so she was saying her daughter wants a homecoming dress, and she really wants it to be from Aquamarine. And I was like, well, that's awesome. It's incredible. Really? Like, Elizabeth wants her dress from Aquamarine? And I said, I love this so much, because it's the mother, and then her cousins and their mothers, and then the grandmother Cookie, who is going to be 102 this year. And so now Elizabeth wants her homecoming dress from Aquamarine, and she said to me, Aquamarine is now in our DNA. And I was like, oh my goodness, how lucky am I, And I've gotten to know these people, and they're all so fascinating to me. They do such interesting things, and they live such unbelievable lives, and they're such strong women. And I feel so very lucky that I just get to clothe them, because when you feel good, but when you're wearing something that you feel so great in, I mean, you can conquer the world. Steve will tell you that. Like, if you have the right shorts on, you can climb any hill. Who wouldn't want to be there, right? So how lovely to live in a place where the ocean meets the bay, where the bay and the ocean spit up these things that it's like a treasure every day. And then you get to live here and you get to provide some silly little service that's just like clothing to people to make them feel lovely about themselves or in that moment. And then that's something that you just happen to be good at. And you get to do it every day. And then that becomes your livelihood. And then all the circles that just keep going around and around like a tree ring of the people that you get to meet and the things that you get to do. And that to me is like the biggest gift. So I feel like I might be the luckiest person I've ever met. So it's good to be here.
Mo, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. And Steve, let's work on those shorts.
Thanks for being so patient and guiding me through a world I clearly know nothing about. And you only had to say, we can do better once. I think anyone who listens to this episode, you get a glimpse into how much fun it would to be able to go buy something at Aquamarine.
Do you think anybody's still listening? Listener, I'm so grateful for you.
It would be hard to imagine the town of Lewes without Maureen and Aquamarine. Thanks to our sponsor, the sister restaurants Half Full and Kindle. The weather is getting nice. Their spots for outside dining are back. And remember, if you haven't tried the cold board at Half Full, it's time. You owe it to yourself. Thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying our episodes as much as we are enjoying airing them. We never would have been able to meet so many incredible people like Mo, without this podcast. Till next time, from our alternative studio on Lewes Beach, where there's always room at the bar, this has been We in Lewes, the podcast. How many hours are we?
75.